YouTube. So it is the end of 2020. What a crazy, crazy year it has been. And every year I like to reflect on the year that has just passed by talking about something or some things that have happened every month that made this year memorable. So I've got my list on my phone and let's get started. If you're new here, hello, my name is Tori Cyclic. I make new videos every Sunday for Cyclic Sunday with other videos throughout the week. If you like what you see, like this video down below and subscribe while you're down there as well. You can also follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok in the description at tss6295. Now, let's get into the video. January. For January, I have two things. Number one is ringing in New Year's at Dirt Candy at work, and number two is adopting Carbon. So in my time working at Dirt Candy, usually I would work on New Year's Day. We would have like some kind of big New Year's Day brunch or dinner event that we would do to celebrate ringing in the new year. But for 2020, we were ringing in New Year's Eve. So we had a New Year's Eve dinner, and then I was a little bit annoyed that I would have to work on New Year's Eve and not get to be home with Sean and watch the ball drop together on TV. But I got to have fun at work with friends, and I've never had an experience like that before. We all had champagne when the ball was dropping. All the customers were really nice. It was just a really fun evening at work. I had a really good time. The big thing that started off 2020 for me and Sean was adopting Carbon. To be honest, at first I didn't know if I wanted to adopt Carbon because one, I've never had a real pet before. I had like a fish growing up. I also was thinking that like 2020 was going to be a very busy year and I wouldn't be home at all to spend time with him and like learn Carbon signals and like feel comfortable around him, because like when I was in college was when I started to get more comfortable around animals and having pets in the house. So I was just like very unsure of how I was going to feel about having a pet in my house. As soon as we decided to adopt Carbon and we hung out with him a little bit before actually fully adopting him from our friends, I realized that I needed Carbon. Honestly, he was just like such a godsend for us, keeping us company, especially when at the beginning of the year Sean was out on a lot of work trips. So I was able to spend a lot of time with Carbon and get to know him as a cat and enjoy his company. And now I like can't imagine life without him. So I'm really happy that we actually adopted Carbon and that I got over my kind of irrational fears of having a pet. February. For February, I have two, which were auditioning for a Pittsburgh Civic Light Opera PCLO and a Pop Tap Girls Night Out. So for auditioning for PCLO, it was my first time ever auditioning for them, and they were doing A Chorus Line and a couple other shows as well. For me, A Chorus Line is a show that I've been auditioning for since I moved to the city. It was the first audition I ever did in the city, and I've gotten like pretty far in different rounds that I almost booked the national tour. I've been very close to booking that job. So when it came to doing this audition, I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna give it my all because it's this show I really want to do and hope for the best. And for the whole audition process, I made it through multiple rounds of the audition. I made it through multiple singing rounds. I was pretty much at like the final callback round, which is really exciting because that has happened for me a couple times, but this one was like very close to being in my reach. So I was very excited about it. I didn't book it, and even if I had booked it, coronavirus would have shut everything down anyway. But to get that far in an audition for a pretty well-known and pretty big deal regional theater was very exciting for me. Usually for A Chorus Line, I only get called back for the role of BB, but at PCLO's audition, I got called back for BB and Maggie. And Maggie has some pretty tough singing in the song At the Ballet, but having the opportunity to sing at this audition, this very hard material for a big group of important people at this theater, and it was just a very exciting opportunity to know that I could fit more than one spot in that show, and also that people in a professional setting saw me as more than one role. It was just very exciting. It was a good audition that I felt very good about. And the Pop Tap Girls Night Out, we went out to Haswell Greens for some drinks and dancing, and I've never been to Haswell Greens before. I've been wanting to go for a while, and it was so much fun. It was just like a good girls night out. I haven't had a good girls night out, I feel like, ever, so it was really nice to have that experience. March. For March, I have two, well, for a lot of these, I have two different things or more than one thing for each month, but for March, it was singing at 54 Below and coronavirus starting to shut everything down. So for singing at 54 Below, I made a whole video about this as well. I got the opportunity to sing in a Jerry Herman tribute concert and sing the song that I sang with the Utah Symphony in 2017. And it was very cool to revisit that song, one, but two, make my 54 Below singing debut, which is something very exciting. Again, something I never really thought I would ever do or do when I was in a show or something like that. It was the height of audition season, and I was excited to have a little break from singing in audition rooms and get to sing in front of an audience for the first time in a very long time. It was an amazing show with amazing performers there, and I'm just really happy I got to be a part of it. So the thing that's crazy about everything with coronavirus is that the day I was doing the performance at 54 Below, March 12th, was the day that everything was shutting down in the city. The performance I did at 54 Below, the Jerry Herman tribute, was one of the last performances in the city before the entire city shut down, which is just absolutely crazy. I just remember running to go get a lot of toilet paper because we were almost out, just making sure that we had that before, like, not knowing what was going to be happening for the next foreseeable future for whatever was going on with coronavirus. It was just like a very nerve-wracking kind of day and like bit of the month that I just was very confused about what was happening to my life. And for the next few days after that, I had my last few shifts at Dirt Candy, and then they were like, okay, maybe we'll see you in 2 weeks. And then nothing ever happened, and then I filed for unemployment. So the March was a very weird time when all of this coronavirus stuff started, because I just didn't know like where my future was gonna be, especially I hadn't booked any shows. So I was like, okay, great, I'm just gonna be working at Dirt Candy over the summer and making money, auditioning, taking classes, and then all of that just kind of like came crashing to a halt. And I was like, oh, okay, great, what happens now? So a lot of things just kind of got up in the air on that day in particular in March. April, quarantine. So for the month of April, that was when quarantine really became a thing. Me and Sean were staying at home all the time. I think the only time we really left the apartment was to go get groceries. Otherwise, we never left. Sean's been working from home the entire time he's lived here, so he didn't really have any issues with that. I had to deal with a lot of unemployment stuff. I tried applying for a couple like teaching English as a second language jobs online, didn't get any of those. It was just a very weird time because I was still like trying to figure out like my future and what was going to be happening, and hoping that things would open back up in like May or June, and obviously nothing did. So yeah, quarantine was a very interesting time. I did a lot of cooking, which is really nice. It was nice to be at home and actually like get time to spend at home, because before that I would be at home for maybe like only time I would be at home was like hours I was sleeping. Otherwise I was always at auditions, classes, work. So it was nice to be able to like actually be in my apartment for once. But yeah, a very, very weird time. May, playing the Borderlands video game series from the beginning. I've been playing the Borderlands game since Sean introduced it to me with Borderlands 2. So that one is my favorite game. I played that one a couple times through, because there's the first one, the pre-sequel, the second one, and the third one. So I had never played the first one because I tried playing Borderlands 1 and just like hated the graphics of it. So it just made it like impossible for me to play. But when they released the third game last September, I think, they released a whole brand new revamped version of Borderlands 1, so the graphics were a lot better and looked similar to what I was used to playing from Borderlands 2 in the pre-sequel. So I felt a lot better about wanting to try and play this game again. So then once I finished a playthrough of Borderlands 3 with Sean, I said I am going to start playing from the beginning of the entire video game series. So I played Borderlands 1 all the way through with all the downloadable content, the pre-sequel with all the extra content, Borderlands 2 with all the extra content, and Borderlands 3 with all the extra content. So now I've played all of them through completely. I still love it so much, and I'm still continuing to play it because there's more content coming out. There's all these different things you can do in the game. So having that time to do that in May, it just got me even more invested in playing this game. June, lots and lots of dancing for TikTok. So I started my TikTok account in April, but only really got into it in June, and I was like posting all the time like I am now. I was posting 3 times a day, but June was when I really got into TikTok and like figuring out what I wanted to do with it. And then also the roof of our old building reopened, so I was able to dance outside. And because our old apartment was small, I didn't really have like a space where I could like fully dance, because I wanted to do some like bigger musical theater style dances on TikTok. I wasn't really able to do it without kicking Sean out of the front room where he needed to be to work, and I couldn't make room in the bedroom to do it because there was no room for it. So when our roof reopened, I was able to go outside and actually dance on our roof and have a good time with that, and really enjoy making a lot of fun content and being outside as well, getting some fresh air. July, watching the July 4th fireworks from the rooftop of our building. So surprisingly, in the amount of time that Sean and I lived in that old building in Bushwick, we never really went on the roof of the building until quarantine. And then July 4th happened, and we were able to watch the fireworks from the roof of our building, which was pretty incredible because we were able to get like a 360 view of like Queens, Brooklyn, and Manhattan. And then there was people right outside on like the bottom of our street blowing up fireworks from there. So it's a very cool experience because we were just like fully surrounded by it and got like an incredible fireworks show. August, apartment hunting and my quarantine birthday. So in July and August, we were talking about moving out of that old apartment just because we wanted more space. I wanted more space to dance, and Sean was feeling like he wanted to have more of an office space to actually be able to like do his meetings without disturbing me, and I didn't want to be bothering him while he was on phone calls and stuff for work. So we started looking for a bigger place where we could have like a living room, a bedroom, and an office. And obviously we found that because we're in our new apartment now. But we did a lot of apartment hunting kind of all over Brooklyn. We found a couple of specific areas that we really liked. And then there was a couple days where I had to go all by myself to look at these apartments in the middle of the summer heat because Sean had to work. But it was a really good time. It was good to explore a different area of Brooklyn than what we were used to. And then we found this place that we're in and decided that we wanted to go with this one because we really like it a lot. It's a great apartment. And then for my quarantine birthday, I didn't really know what I wanted to do for my birthday because I was like, we can't go anywhere. Like we can't really do much because coronavirus, obviously. But Sean and I, we had a really good time celebrating my birthday. We got breakfast brunch at Dirt Candy, which is really great because it was the first time I've been back since I stopped working there because of the pandemic. So it was nice to go check it out and see what they were doing, have some really good food there because obviously the food is delicious. And then we walked around the city a little bit, and then we came home and played video games, watched TV, had sushi for dinner. It was a very like chill birthday. And yeah, and then we like had a Zoom call with my parents as well and my family, and it was really nice. My sisters also made a very funny video for me to celebrate my birthday, kind of parodying everything that I do like YouTube wise and like on the internet, which is very, very funny. So it was a nice birthday. I didn't really know what to expect, and it turned out being great. September, moving into our new apartment. Pretty self-explanatory. In September, we moved into this new apartment, and yeah, it was a really fairly easy moving day, which is really, really nice. We hired a moving truck and got all of our stuff over here, and yeah, we really like this new apartment. It's great. It fits the needs that we need for it. It has the office space, the bedroom, and the living room. I'm able to easily move our couch and our coffee table over and dance as much as I want and take as many classes as I want. Sean is able to have the office space for work stuff. I'm also able to have the office as a workspace as well. October, lots and lots of clients for Let's Eat Grandma. So I started working for Let's Eat Grandma in August, and in October I got hit with a lot of clients, learning the ins and outs of how I wanted to do resume writing and cover letter writing and deal with all the packages that I was dealing with. It got quite stressful at certain points just because I felt like I was getting so many things at once, but I made a lot of money out of it, which was great, and I've been enjoying it. It's a lot to balance work-wise and working with a lot of different people writing their stories for their resumes and their cover letters, but it's been good. I was like, yeah, October was like the busiest month for me regarding Let's Eat Grandma. It's also just been a great way to make some extra money alongside my unemployment, because once that $600 extra ran out that I was getting consistently every week, I was really worried about if I was going to be able to pay rent. And now, because I have this extra job with having some extra money coming in, I feel pretty comfortable, which is really, really nice. November, babysitting for my friend Nin and taking lots of classes over Zoom. So throughout the month of November, I started babysitting for my friend Nin from Dirt Candy. She has an adorable little 3-year-old named Luke, and it's been really fun getting to babysit because one, it gets me out of the apartment. I'm not really leaving the apartment again otherwise, besides babysitting and going to get groceries when we need like extra things. But otherwise, yeah, it was been really nice to get outside. They also don't live that far away from us here, so it's really nice to go from the apartment here, go to the park, take him out in the park, and then taking a lot of classes over Zoom. When we moved into this new apartment, I was desperate to start taking some dance classes again, and in November was where I really started doing a lot more dance classes. In particular, I've been taking classes with Billy Griffin, Al Blackstone, and Mark Kimmelman. I used to take class with Billy and Al in the studio all the time, and they're some of my favorite classes ever because they just bring such like a calming energy into the classroom, and their combos are always incredible. Mark Kimmelman, I've taken one class with him before the pandemic, and then there was a point where I was like, no, I'm just gonna take his class because I knew it was very challenging, so I wanted to challenge myself to do a little bit of a different style. I'm excited to get back into the studio whenever that happens with all 3 of these teachers and really keep training with them. December, making delicious recipes with Sean and hitting 10,000 followers on TikTok. So Sean and I really love cooking together, and I feel like in December we just made some really incredible recipes. All of them just tasted really, really good. I feel like there's one, I'm trying to think if there's one that stood out. I think the one that stood out the most that I can remember right now, because it was very recent, was the Mongolian beef that we made on Christmas, which is very, very delicious. I love cooking with Sean, and I feel like we both really enjoy having that time to spend together, and we just made some really delicious food in December. And hitting 10,000 followers on TikTok was crazy because I never thought that would actually happen, and then in December it actually happened, and now I'm almost at 11,000 followers as of the day I'm filming this, which is just insane. Like, yeah, I'm just like, people want to watch what I'm doing on TikTok. That's crazy. It's been really cool to kind of be forging my own path on TikTok, posting a lot of dances from Glee, a lot of musical theater stuff, just kind of sharing the things that I like to dance on TikTok and people enjoying when I'm posting. So it's really, really fun. All right, well, that is everything that I have on my list that made 2020 a memorable year. So that is all I have for you guys today. If there's anything that made 2020 memorable for you, let me know about that in the comments down below. And if there's anything else you want to see here on my channel, let me know about that in the comments down below as well. Thank you guys so much for watching DFTBA, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.